Thorns tearing skin under the yoke. The hope dies down, red on the slope today. Life is a heavy debt we pay. Nature never asks for leave. I tears, cold hunger. Why does it hurt so much? Why does it hurt so much? I am feeling things I never asked to want. Tracing the nerves and the marrow and bone. It is too much. It is too much.
Before society gets its claws into you, biology has already handcuffed you to a body that bleeds, breaks, panics, aches, hungers, fears, and eventually rots. Nature isn't your mother. Nature is the hostile landlord who hands you keys to a collapsing building and says, "Good luck, no refunds." Life doesn't begin with meaning, purpose, or planning. It begins with sex, the most brilliantly executed con in evolutionary history. If reproduction required a logical argument, the human species would have ended in the Stone Age. You weren't chosen. You were consequential spillover from a biological urge run by forces neither of your parents understood. At the exact moment a man thinks he's touching paradise, his body is actually creating the raw materials for someone else's hell. If that isn't diabolical engineering, what is? Evolution didn't give you a pleasure for joy. It gave you pleasure for recruitment. Welcome to existence. Infancy is the period where humans are at their weakest and yet expected to be cherished memories. Infants are fragile biological experiments. Childhood is painted as innocent and joyful. Reality, it's a dangerous obstacle course. Childhood is not peaceful. It's chaotic survival. Puberty is the biological equivalent of a software update that breaks everything. Every teenager is a malfunctioning chemistry set. Teenagers aren't dramatic, they're drowning in endocrine warfare. Late teens are sold as the best years of your life. Instead, they're a minefield. Nature hasn't eased up, society has piled on. 20s and 30s, the illusion of freedom. This is when the world promises freedom and delivers bills. You think you're building a life, you're building obligations. Middle age is when the body begins sending warning letters. By this stage, life feels less like a journey and more like maintenance. Old age is brutal. The body begins folding in on itself. Old age is not golden, it's rust. And death, the punchline. Death is the final biological insult. Death is often slow, painful, frightening, humiliating, medicalized, lonely, confused, and traumatic. And then, nothing. The entire ordeal ends with a formality and a bill. Nature lures you with an orgasm and drags you through pregnancy, birth, infancy, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, middle age, decline, and death. A conveyor belt of entropy, and people call this a gift. Nature isn't benevolent, nature is indifferent efficiency. Life is not miraculous, it's mechanical. You weren't born into paradise, you were born into a system that runs on suffering, decay, reproduction, and death. If childhood is nature's playground of peril, school is culture's containment camp. People call it education, but it operates more like a processing plant for compliant citizens. It begins with small chairs and ends with small lives. Walk into any primary school and you'll see the first phase of conditioning. Children lined up like miniature factory workers, responding to bells, chanting rules, learning not how to think, but how to sit still. The message is clear, the world rewards obedience over curiosity. And then, crucially, they are taught the three sacred lies of the modern world. Lie 1, hard work guarantees success. Reality, hard work guarantees exhaustion. Success is rationed. Lie 2, you can be anything you want. Reality, you can be whatever the economy needs and only for as long as it needs you. Lie 3, school prepares you for life. Reality, It prepares you for paperwork, waiting rooms, and accepting things you don't like without screaming. The point of school is not to produce citizens. It's to produce workers, voters, and believers. Health is marketed as a right. In practice, it's a subscription model where your body fails and the system bills you for using it. Most people spend the first half of their lives trying to avoid doctors, and the second half trying to find one who listens. Every illness has its own comedy. The medical system isn't a temple, it's a meat grinder with sympathy cards. Humans boast about being apex predators, but most behave more like apex consumers of beige sludge. Advertising is a multi-million-dollar hypnosis department designed to create insecurity and then sell solutions to it. Its core message is simple. You are not enough, but you could be if you buy this. Every advert is a tiny insult disguised as a promise. Social media is a casino for your nervous system. You pull the lever, scroll, hoping for a hit, like. Most of the time you lose, but occasionally you win. And that tiny win is enough to keep you playing until your soul is in overdraft. The platforms are designed to exploit your brain's 4 vulnerabilities. Religion, the original scam. Before advertising, before influencers, before governments, there was religion, the prototype of all cultural manipulation. Its ingredients are simple. Fear of death, ignorance of nature, authority in robes, promises you can't verify, rules you didn't write, guilt you can't shake, and rewards you can't inspect. Humanity is addicted to stories that make the pain feel purposeful. Government, law, and taxes. The big stick in a suit. Government is the adult version of because I said so. Law is the codified list of acceptable behaviours. Taxes are the fee for existing in someone else's system. The police are the armed customer service department. The courts are the complaint escalation team. Prisons are the timeout corner for grown-ups. Democracy is picking a flavour of control. Authoritarianism is being force-fed it. Either way, you get governed. Mental health problems are so common they're basically the default settings of the human mind. Depression, anxiety, trauma, attachment wounds, addiction, dissociation, loneliness, existential dread, burnout, intrusive thoughts. The DSM reads like the human experience written honestly. Mental illness isn't a glitch. It's a mirror held up to the culture. Money, the grand illusion. Money is the world's most successful myth, a belief system printed on cotton paper. It stands in for value, security, freedom, status, virtue, safety, and identity. People trade their time, health, relationships, passions, and dreams for numbers on a screen. And for what? To buy back small pieces of the freedom they sold to acquire the money in the first place. Money is a magician. It turns life into labour. It turns dreams into debts. It turns humans into resources. No one owns money. Money owns everyone. Police, law, and injustice, the enforcers of the scam. The police are not there to keep you safe. They're there to keep the system safe from you. They enforce laws written by people you didn't meet for reasons you weren't told, with punishments you didn't vote for. Justice is a lottery. Rich criminals get lawyers, poor innocents get records, courts get fees, and prisons get new inventory. People love to say life is priceless, but the truth is much simpler and much uglier. Life is extremely expensive, and you pay for the privilege of suffering. From the moment someone forces you into existence, a silent meter starts running. Every day you live, the world bills you for air that's polluted, food that's poisoned, housing that's unaffordable, healthcare that's bankrupting, and eventually a care home that costs more than a Caribbean holiday resort. Old age, the final invoice. This is where the system collects its final brutal tax. Care homes cost more than luxury hotels. The difference? No cocktails, no pool, and the activities involve fewer water slides and more chair yoga. You spend a lifetime paying to stay alive and then pay again for the privilege of declining. Parents don't create life. They create financial liabilities with nerve endings. Every human is an ecological event, a walking carbon footprint wrapped in a consumption habit. An average Western life emits hundreds of tons of CO2, thousands of animals killed, millions of litres of polluted water, a landfill legacy that lasts centuries. We produce more waste in a day than our ancestors did in a month. The planet isn't suffering because of a few corporations. It's suffering because of all of us, all the time. Every birth is another lifetime subscription to planetary extraction. If you think human life is rough, try being a wild animal. Most animals don't live Disney lives. They starve, freeze, overheat, get parasites, get infections, get eaten alive, or die trying to reproduce. Nature is not peaceful. It's a 24/7 agony arena. Nature is not a sanctuary. It's an unregulated torture chamber. Yet people romanticize it because they don't live in it. Humanity runs the single largest industrial killing machine in history. Every year we slaughter 80+ billion land animals, 1 to 3 trillion fish, tens of billions of crustaceans, billions of birds, billions of insects in labs. These creatures live in conditions that would violate every human rights convention ever written. Nature builds a prison, culture decorates it. If biology lays the trap, society installs the locks. If your body provides the suffering, culture provides the meaning-making illusions that justify it. And yet people still breed, still invite innocence into the machine. Why on earth would anyone willingly recruit another innocent being into this catastrophe? Human reproduction is not a rational act. It's a psychological magic trick performed by biology, tradition, ego, hormones, culture, fear, loneliness, and the absolute refusal to think too deeply. People don't breed because they've carefully examined the experience of life and concluded, yes, this would be an excellent gift. People think children will extend them, outlive them, immortalize them. They confuse genetic continuity with legacy. Reality: your child will forget almost everything about you within 2 generations. You will be a faded photograph at best, a name on Ancestry.com at worst. People believe they are so special that the universe needs another copy. This delusion is rarely challenged because society reinforces it. Being born is forced entry into a penal colony. There is no cult more powerful, more manipulative, more adored, more unquestioned, or more absurd than the cult of baby. People breed because they think babies are the answer, but babies are more like the question. What problem in your life are you trying not to look at? People sometimes object to antinatalism by saying, but life has beautiful moments, shouldn't we appreciate them? Yes, appreciation exists, gratitude exists, joy exists, love exists. But here's the truth no one wants to accept. You can appreciate life without forcing another person to endure it. Life is a burning house. Everyone is trying to escape, no one gets out alive, but instead of helping people out of the smoke, society encourages parents to throw more babies into the fire. This is not love, it's arson. Every new birth is another set of pain receptors, another mouth to feed, another brain that can break, another heart that can shatter, another body that can suffer, another soul that can burn out. If life is suffering, and it is, biology, culture, physics and statistics agree, then the most compassionate act is to prevent unnecessary suffering. Life is not a gift, it is a responsibility you have no right to impose on someone else. If a person cannot consent to being created, you cannot morally create them. If suffering is guaranteed and pleasure is conditional, and death is mandatory, and the world is burning, the only ethical response is abstention. Do not create what you cannot protect from harm. Life is a game no one asked to play. The kindest move is not to drag a new player onto the board. Let the suffering that already exists be the last of its lineage. Let compassion outweigh instinct. Let wisdom outweigh tradition. Let responsibility outweigh desire. Let empathy outweigh ego. And let the billions of unborn remain exactly where they are. Not in heaven, not in limbo, not in potential, but in the one state where suffering is impossible. Non-existence.
Maybe the silence was better. Maybe the void was kinder. Nothing to lose, nothing to break, nothing to feel. I see the trap, I see the cost, I see the end. Why does it hurt so much? Why does it hurt so much? I am feeling things I never asked to hold. Tracing the knots in the marble, but it is too much. It is too much. feeling things.